Welcome back into the workshop, and can I say attempt number 3, but attempt number 3 with some quite, well, timely delivery involved. So that was what I was about to talk about here, well I was actually, before I got interrupted, and before I deleted the first video that just lost track of itself. Anyway, all about this at the moment, and yippee! I had a thought, as is normal for me for the last few months, I haven't been able to sleep properly, and you lay awake and you think, what am I going to do in the workshop tomorrow? And one of the things was, oh, that's really timely. I can make up a dimensioning router pad, at least the first trial run of doing that, for the end of the workbench. Now, unfortunately, it won't be able to be made before, for the job at hand, but at least it affords me the chance to look at making the pad that will go on here to replace these 3 pads that I'm using. So a single pad that will go on here that will take the new router lift. Anyway, I haven't even opened it. I've literally, within about a minute and a half ago, just picked that up off the courier, so delivered it. So what we need to do here is to have a single pad that can be placed on here and then removed and hooked up on the back of the workbench out of the way, because for the most part it won't be used and it's just going to be a sticky outy thing that will be a pain in the butt, or in my case, pain in the hip, as you walk around and hit it. Now, at the moment, the Wii router, that's a trim router mounting, I thought it was the router lift and the router worked particularly well, but I'm wondering whether it did and now no longer does because of just an ever so slight amount of wear, or I'm becoming more discerning in what it actually is. And I had said, would I recommend this to anyone as a router lift? And my answer was unequivocally, one of those words, yes. Now I would say maybe. Still worth the money and still worth getting, but I did have to modify it ever so slightly. It wasn't difficult. I've covered the videos on that and why I did it, but it works really, really well, except I can't get it to reliably lock. The actual motor can move slightly, and the way it locks itself in or mounts is a little bit, a wee bit hesitant to say it will last long. So now it would be worth getting for the money, yes. Would I buy it again? No, I wouldn't. Okay, I'd spend more money and get a different router lift, but I've got a different router lift. Anyway, you get to there. Now, what's going to happen, and why I'll get to that probably in the next video after this. But why are these up here? Well, the pad. Let me just get a tape measure. The pad that I want to make needs to be about this long, mainly because I wanted enough pad on the inside to be able to mount it with the pins and give it some stability. And any smaller, and in this case, this router would hit the end of the table. So could it be smaller this way? Well, yes, it could be, but then there'd be a greater tipping potential. So it needs to be roughly 600 wide. And of course, I'd prefer it to be 1200 long that way. So let's see how big we can make it. Now, the new router, can't wait to open that. By God, it'd better be good for the money I spent on that one. But not expensive, not top end, but it is high end. The router will be a bit bigger, it'll be heavier, and it needs to be more capable. There'll be more things done on this end that would be very similar to a router station. It's not a router station, so don't get me started on the comparisons, but that is far more capable than this setup ever will be. However, this will do certain things that the router station probably couldn't do or won't do. So it has its place here, hence why I'm doing it. Now, let that be accepted. The panel, being the size it is, can't have the holes drilled in it like a normal sketchy builder pad that I actually do want, or perhaps want. To be fair, I don't think a lot of holes have to be in this area here, but that's not stopping me putting them in anyway, just because. And as such, I need to be able to drill in further than 150 millimeters. This is if I were to make this pad again, I could come in 150. Let's do it this way, shall we? The pads that I make are either 300 or 400 wide. 300, 400. The pads of 400 means that the first hole comes in 50 millimeters and I can drill this one. Comes in 50 millimeters and drill this one. Now, I've already marked them using the 3, 4, 5 squaring methods and bars, so all of the holes can be marked, but they can't be drilled on the drill press any further in than 150 millimeters, just because of the distance between the drill bit and the post of the drill. So, that's interesting. Pads like this, as long as I want, but only 400 wide, can be drilled. But straight away, this one is going to be at least 600 wide, possibly wider, and 1200 long. So that means I can't drill those holes further in than 150 millimeters. How do I get to the other ones? Well, that's where these come in. I can pin these in place in the holes that I can get to, and pin that onto those pads to drill anywhere I darn well like over quite a big surface area. That means that the pre-drilled holes up to 150, pre-drilled holes 150 in, the pads can be inserted, this can be attached to that, and I can insert my drill bit into this here, and I can go anywhere I want for drilling purposes. Now, that's a really good facility to be able to have. So how did I arrive there? Well, excuse my cough. Wow, well, that was a bit of a journey. Originally, I bought this jig, a W-new, however you say it, jig. That's part of it. It's the bearinged bush, and that's the drill bit that came with this. This was going to be used for drilling all of the holes in the top after they were marked with those bars, the 3, 4, 5 squaring, the bars, which I've shown, and this was going to be used for drilling all of the holes. Good idea. You hold the guide here, and with the other hand, you've got the drill, and you drill the holes. Yippee! Except my very first attempt at that proved two things. First one, which was really almost the deal breaker on itself, but was it's bloody hard to punch through the melamine with that sort of drill. So I was a bit, maybe I've got a bit of a dud here. That drill bit's not very good. Turns out the drill bit's really good. And that one drill bit has drilled all of these holes, those ones down there and the ones behind me for the miter station and all these other. And it's still pretty darn sharp even to this day. So I've probably done 1,000 holes. Now, the thing was, punching just 3 holes or 4 holes in the beginning with this guide, as I said, was incredibly hard for that drill to punch through the melamine surface. Now, if you're using plywood or just custom wood, no problem. But I would suggest if you're going to use this in melamine or Formica lined panels, you might want to rethink. The other thing that became the deal breaker was that pushing so hard down on the drill, and I've got like a heavy commercial drill, it meant that I was ever so slightly biasing the drill to the handle, because you'd have to put the pressure down on it, and the holes weren't always dead square. As hard as you would try, that extra pressure would cant the drill off just on the tiniest amount, so that when you go to push the bench dogs through the holes, they may not line up with the one below it because of that angle. So those two things had me in a wee bit of turmoil. But then I thought, maybe all of the panels that I've got that I was going to use anyway, I can drill on the drill press. Why, yes I can. Up to 400 wide, the panel. This panel here, 400 wide. This one, 300, 300, 300, 400, 300. So I can do all of those. So, how did I drill that one? That's 700 by 700. Well, that's where the journey led me to this. This is version 3. Version 1 and 2 utilise the steel bars over the back there, the 3-4-5 squaring method. So it can work, but there were shortcomings in it. I thought the steel would have been ideal, honestly. But as it turned out, the custom wood, strangely enough, turns out to be a good idea. This came with that bushing and that drill bit. It was so not what I needed, I bought a second one. Hey, why? Excuse me. Well, it gave me a second bushing, bearing bushing, and a second drill bit. So I've got a spare drill bit and this bushing to mount in here. So that can go away. And this is 25mm thick MDF, melamine MDF, and I was able to thread the bushing into the melamine, believe it or not, successfully. It surprised me as well. But it's got a 14 by 1 millimeter thread on it, and it's that fineness of thread, I think, which actually helps me go into the custom wood, into the MDF. So I put one on this side and one on this side, and I put my drill bit in it to give me about 60 millimeters of bearing support to the drill, and at this point here, zero wobble. I can't even perceive it digitally, these things. I can't even perceive the movement there, so I know that's accurate. And that is about 32 millimeters from there, and on 2 layers of 18 millimeters, I've got 4 mils of clearance, so that I can lift and lower it into place. Once everything's been plugged in, then I can just up off the pins and move it across in 25 millimeter increments if I want it to, because I've got them drilled at 25 millimeter spacings. So I can use that to make any pad size I want. You can see that, well, you can't really, but the pad going across here is, well, let's measure it. It's 1200, by the way. So that is, yeah, I don't lie to you. I may be wrong, but I don't lie to you. But now I can plug the pads in on a 1200, spacing sort of thing, and then I can run this backwards and forwards anywhere in between. So that's a good thing, I would suggest. So now I can make up and drill well anywhere in the workbench surface. Coming back to the fact that, excuse me, I can feel another cup of tea coming on, but this is it's a chunky boy drill. It's still only a 18 volt, but then the 36 volts on the shelf, but this still comes into the fact that I'm using a hand drill to push through here. Well, hang on. I'm not holding this anymore. It's pinned in place. Can't move. I can use two hands on this, reach in and lower the drill down. And because it's got such a big bearinged guide, it ain't moving. So it can't tilt. But I've got two hands now, whereas that one had one hand and etc. So problem solved. Custom wood, again, surprised me, is the product of choice, or the material of choice, over, unless I had a heavy bit of aluminium when I could then drill it. It has to be 25 millimeters if I'm going to use two bushings, because it needs 10 millimeters each side for the thread of the bushing. So this needs to be that thick, which I don't have. Can't really use the aluminium box section. The wall thickness is only 3 millimeters. I suggest that I could tap it, but not too certain how reliable that would be. I'll give it a go one day though. So now that's where we're at. I can make up my pad, which will also need some cabinetry made up underneath to support it so it doesn't flex. Shouldn't flex much in a big panel, but let's go with the fact that it might. So I either put a brace on it, possible. I may well put a double layer of custom wood underneath to make it more chunky. So that gives it more weight, which will help tilt it, which is not what I want. So a rigid piece of paneling underneath may be required. And I thought, let's put a taper on it? Yeah, well, I've got a tapering jig now, haven't I? Or I can attach it. So I was working to the end goal with that tapering jig in mind. So now I could possibly, bloody well better, make a tapered panel that will clip on there and be removable so that I can put my pad on. And that is itself removable. So, yay! That'll be an interesting project. But as I said, did I? Can't remember. We won't be using it in this job, the ones that up there, because I don't have a router that will go in it. I need one of those round body routers, and I have to get one ordered, which I should do. Yeah. Anyway, I should order it, but I can now make up the pad for this router setup. This will suffice in the meantime, the way I've got it, to do the job. So, yay! Rightio. Well, that's it. You can guess what the next video is going to be about. No, and my standard reaction is it is not an unboxing, even though I will be unboxing it. But yeah, it may have been popular with some people, but I really get distracted to the negative side with those unboxing videos. So, okay, dimensioning router pad thingy, we're moving in the right direction. Yay, at last. Right, well, that's it. I'm wandering off, and I'll end this one and I'll start the next one. Righty-ho. I'll see you later now. Bye.